Morning. We have a new friend joining in, Deepa. And Deepa is an awesome storyteller. She is proficient in telling stories in multiple languages, and she's also an educationalist. She is organizer for festivals and events. She is also a TEDx speaker. She's done a lot of oration, and her. I mean, I think the biggest difference with Deepa is her voice. The way a couple of seconds of interaction I had before going live, I think that makes the whole difference on how you speak, how calmly you can actually orate the story which you want to showcase to the kids. So she has made an impact for more than a lakh of students and more than 40,000 teachers. So, Deepa, maybe you can tell our new friends how you started this journey. How did you take this as a passion, and how are you enjoying this?
Yeah, it's. I always joke. So first, thanks Ravi for having me here. I'm really delighted to come on this lovely show and to be here with all of you. Hello to everybody. Yeah. So yeah, I am a storyteller, and I'm often asked. Often people don't believe that that's my profession, which it is. Yeah. And interestingly, one episode I always share is that I found my diary
Hmm.
when one of my diaries when I was 13 years old, and I've written in that I want to tell stories to the world when I grow up.
Wow.
I have no memory of writing that, but yeah, somewhere there must have been the dream to do what I'm doing today. So I feel guided in some ways. I feel guided to do it. If I have to say where it started, once again, I always say that I can never come to the point. So I think that's who I've always been, and I'm a storyteller. But very specifically, formally, it was 2000. In the year 2000, I had just finished my master's in English literature from the Central University of Hyderabad, and most of my batchmates, quite a few of them, were very clear they will go into the education field, and I swore by it that I'll do anything but come into education. And life has its ways. So the first thing that happened was my neighbor said, Deepa, we have a 3-month vacancy contractual appointment. The PGT English, the teacher who teaches 11th and 12th class,
Hmm.
she's gone on maternity leave. So will you fill in for 3 months? So I thought, okay, till my dream job happens, I'll go and just fill in for 3 months. It was my first experience in a central government school, and I'd only studied in urban missionaries. Yeah, so it was like a shocker for me because students were running all over the place, and nobody was in my classroom. I had to go and ask the teacher, "Ma'am, class में कोई नहीं है." She said, "कोई नहीं है, बेटा playground में आके बुला के लाना." Like what? So I had to go and call my students. And worse, when I called them, they were playing volleyball. 5 minutes, ma'am.
Oh my
I was
God.
like, wow, this is not how it's going to work. And I was hardly 5 years older than my students because they were about 16 and 17, and I was 21, 22 something. And in fact, even the PT teacher one day mixed me up for the student and scolded me also for not standing in line. So I, I really had to find ways, to one, bring them to the classroom, two, to get them interested in the English language, and three, for some of them to really break down their inhibitions that they had towards the English language. And it was just intuitive that I started using stories. I would ask them, okay, let's do this chapter. Nahi, ma'am, nahi padhna hai, nahi sunna hai. They were very comfortable telling me what they felt like doing or they didn't feel like. So I'd say, okay, shall I tell you the story of this chapter? But I will tell you only if you promise to go home and read it so that we can have a discussion tomorrow. So I just tried it as an experiment. I told them the entire story of the chapter, and most of them read it and came back, the next day, which was a very interesting revelation for me. That perhaps when we assume that children don't like to read, children are lazy, they have no inclination for literature, I think they have other concerns. They have concerns of comprehension. They have concerns of deeper engagement, which is not offered to them. So somehow this oral narration of the story seemed to offer them that tool. And it worked. It really helped. We had just 3 months to go for the board exams, class 11, class 12 students. So that was one starting point for me, but I started using it in schools. And yeah, yeah. if you have other questions, then I will reserve this because I have much more.
You have accomplished a lot of recognition and awards. So how did that journey start? So how did you take this as a profession? Apart from being a teacher, how did you make this as a foundation and take it forward?
Right, Ravi. So, the first time I did storytelling as a paid project
Mhm.
was in the year 2008. Yeah, in 2008, I was just early 30s. I had two children who were 3.5 and 5.5, and everything seemed right with the world. And I had a kidney ailment, a small malfunction of the kidneys. But as a consequence, I had to take about 80 tablets of steroids every day and this continued for 4 months. And nothing was getting better. My cholesterol count used to be 656 and stuff like that. So after 4 months of this whole drudgery, for me it was a drudgery because from my childhood, by choice, I don't take medicines. I'm more into the kitchen and find some podis and kashayams and heal myself. So I think this whole steroid business really bothered me, and I was just wondering, that what could I do that I really like, that I really love, to get my mind off all of this? One. And second, because the cholesterol count was so high, there was a possibility of a heart attack. So I said, okay, man, let me, what are the things I want to do? So I realized I wanted to tell stories and I wanted to dance. So in that little town in Maharashtra where I was living, most people wouldn't have heard of it. It's called Deolali,
Mhm.
and it's got that name because the Britishers lived there and they thought it's a place to just twiddle your thumbs. So they called it Doolally, which means do nothing. So it's one little quiet town, and there we have this little marketplace. I put up printouts, saying summer camp storytelling. And one principal gave the hall of her school. She said, you can hire the space. And I hired her, I think the maids from the school as help. And I just said, okay, if I get 15 children, I'll do my camp. And after 28, I had to refuse and say, I'm sorry, registration's full. And it was a known community there, So I worked with children from 2 right up to 15.
Mhm.
And we had 3 weeks of camp, super fun stories, craft work, dance, what have you. And at the end of it, we invited all the parents and we had a showcase of all their craft work, of all their performances. And next thing I know, when I went for the follow-up checkup after three weeks, um, the doctor said, no, we have to take you off medicines because you're completely fine. So I don't know what science has to say, but I was convinced that, I really have to stay with storytelling. So that was my first paid project. And then in 2010, I came to Hyderabad and I just started, doing public shows, approaching schools. Um, the space called Saptaparani that is there in Banjara Hills.
Mhm.
Dr. Anuradha Prasad was very supportive. She just loved my work. She said, "Yeah, yeah, I want to support you. I want to give you this space." So there was my first public show, and it just so happened that some Hindu reporter landed up there, and we got a coverage in the papers. So it's all been very organic, ever since. I think my biggest lesson is you believe in something, keep at it, just keep at it, and stuff will fall in place. Yeah, I also want to mention that I got a very good advice from a very senior storyteller called Kathy Spagnoli, who
Mhm.
said that don't expect the money in storytelling, do it for the love of it. So I used to be an MC. I used to anchor events for government cultural projects. So the money would come from there, and I was doing storytelling just for the love of it. At some point, all that dropped, and storytelling and the training, uh, I was able to sustain with this. It just happened organically. Yeah.
Super, super. So what magic happened? When how did you go off medicines? So what's your theory in it? What do you think happened during that 3 months workshop or 3 weeks workshop?
3 weeks, just 3 weeks.
So 3 weeks workshop,
Yeah, yeah.
28 angels. What happened during that time? I mean, because I'm really curious to know what happened. Heard about miracles through yoga and meditation, but this is completely new, and we're not hearing it. I mean, we have a person in front of us. who experienced it. So, exactly what's your theory behind it? What do you think happened during that time?
Happens. Yeah, I have met a lot of people, in fact, who have had similar experiences like mine, where all you have to do, I think what really happened, literally, this was my yoga, this was my meditation, right? For me, what somebody would have got from yoga or from meditation, I got by completely being in my element, being in alignment. Um, with my life's purpose. And don't use very big words, but or let's just say being in alignment with my heart. I was completely in alignment with my heart. This is what my heart wanted to do, and I wasn't doing it. So I think it was just my heart blossoming. And if I have to speak from neuroscience, right, they do say that you release endorphins, you release all those positive and happy. Uh,
Happy chemicals.
I forgot the technical term. Is
Yeah,
it
happy chemicals.
with enzymes? Yeah, happy chemicals. Yeah, chemicals is my better word. Yeah, so you release all those biochemicals, right? And I think that just overpowered my the ailment. Like now I'm into yoga. I'm a regular yoga practitioner. I teach it to children, and I meditate. And I remember just in the last class my yoga teacher said that there is klishta and aklishta. We have the negative tendencies and we have the other tendencies in us. And one way is to just work on your positive, so this automatically loses its power. So if I have to correlate in hindsight, maybe that's what happened. I really had this very positive space, resource to work on, and I gave it attention, and that just disempowered, I guess, the ailment. And yeah, and perhaps it was psychosomatic because I was going through a lot psychologically at that point in time. There was a lot of stress in terms of responsibilities. So I think it just gave me that space where I was giving all my energies to something that grows me, and something by which I can contribute to the world. Finally, that's what all of us are looking at, right? We want to matter, and we want to grow. We want to discover, um, and yeah, beautifully crystallize our identity. I think that's the journey we are looking for, and I had this lovely opportunity to do it. Yeah,
I'm sure
that
it would have
that's
been the
that's how I would
same
see
whether
it.
there were like 28 kids or 15 kids or 5 kids, but you engaging in storytelling, I think that's what made a difference. And
Yeah,
yeah, I am currently
yeah.
experiencing the same when I'm doing these live shows. So whatever happy chemicals you're talking about, yeah, I mean, because this is engaging me, I get to meet new people. I get to pull new people's leg. So during the interview, so so nice, so good. But what is your theme? I mean, what stories do you
Yeah.
focus on? Is there a specific theme you practice? I mean, do you uh, go on a specific type of stories?
So one, I've I realized that I love telling stories from India.
Mhm.
So it could be folk tales, it could be bhakti poets, it could be our mythology, it could be historical, it could be scientists of India, it could be ancient Indian, uh, you know, um, uh, discoveries or individuals. Yeah, I'm particularly interested, not that I'm not interested in the world. Yeah, I do stuff which is related to the rest of the world, but this is my core interest. Yeah, I love uh, reintroducing reintroducing our narratives, told ones, untold ones. Yeah, one. Second, my style is highly inspired by Indian oral storytelling traditions. It's helpful that I'm trained in Bharatnatyam. I've learned to play some musical instruments. I work with the radio. So in all ways, I find it very easy to take inspiration from a style like Harikatha or Burakatha, because I can sing, I can dance, I can tell a story. I've been very fascinated by that style. So that's part of how I tell. Having said that, my range of performance is rather exhaustive. It also comes from, I think, my multiple interests. So I've never got bored. I haven't discovered boredom till now. For me, any situation, any person, nothingness, nothing happening, somebody there, some situation, I have a curiosity for everything. So that I think has led me to take up various themes. For example, I did a project with the Society to Save the Rocks, which is more than 25 years old, Hyderabad based. Yeah. So for them, I worked on rock conservation, how to introduce the idea to children. So it was a mix of science, history, geography, mythology, folk, and I strung it all together. And we had this lovely performance in Banjara Hills in Lotus Pond. It was like a natural amphitheater, me below, and all 200 people from all across Hyderabad, children and adults sitting there, and just helping them experience what it is when we are losing rocks. Yeah. So then I've done on the Birdwatcher Society,
Mhm.
and I graduated in science. I studied nutrition and clinical dietetics, Ravi.
Oh.
And I was also a glider pilot. So I did study physics, aerodynamics. I was also into coding for 1 year.
You.
I did lots of crazy things. Yeah. I did a lot of craft work, art. Yeah. So I had these multiple interests. So I worked on projects where I combined mathematics
Mhm.
and storytelling and dance. I've done projects where I combine science, music, storytelling. Yeah. And I'm at ease. I'm at ease in all these spaces because I know what is scientific communication. Yeah. In fact, I had started my MPhil, which I discontinued. It was on the language of science communication, right? Where one has to be precise and yet there is space to have aesthetics in the communication. So, yeah, in that sense, my range is rather exhaustive. Yeah. But yeah.
Super. So when did this voiceover start? I mean, have you given voiceovers for celebrities,
Yeah.
for movies, or how did it?
Yeah, no, no, that's okay. That would be dubbing. Voiceovers, sorry, complete your question.
No, no, no. Please go ahead.
So voiceover is more of what you do for documentaries. When there's a documentary film and there's a voice, that's speaking to you in the background. That's what I do more of. That started because of the experience I developed in All India Radio. I worked with the radio for nearly 5 years, between 1997 to about 2002, alongside my masters and everything. Just after my graduation, I joined. So All India Radio gives you a lot of scope to do many, many things. It's not just that live show. Yeah, we have. I've made interview. I've interviewed many people, poets and theater persons and scientists. Me, as in all of us who worked at Yuvavani English back then. I've made documentaries. I've made documentaries on war and literature. Documentaries on I think Ramanujan's life. Yeah. I did audiobook reading, which is I narrated Alice in Wonderland. So I did drama. We did radio drama. So radio gave a very strong base, for this work, and also I think it was a trigger point. So it was from there that so let's say we have the UGC, the UGC's video recording. One of the spaces where videos for UGC are done is in EMRC in Hyderabad. So that's one of the centers. So EMRC references with All India Radio. They would ask them, okay, would you recommend somebody? So I guess that's where it started. I started doing stuff for EMRC government documentaries where I have to speak in the background. And yeah, I did some jingles also sometime, but I guess I enjoy documentaries a lot more. So that's how that happened. Then word of mouth, someone told someone, someone told someone. So, yeah.
What is the best jingle you did?
Oh, I've hardly done jingles. I don't even remember. I think I remember the documentaries I've done. Yeah, yeah. Sorry to disappoint you on that.
When somebody talks about
Yeah, I
jingle,
think it will be the one I do for my own work.
so somebody talks about jingle, you get to that joke of this one, "Zindagi na milegi dobara." You heard about this jingle, the biscuit jingle. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, are you aware of it or no?
Uh, remind me.
Yeah, it's a jingle which Abhay Deol writes, or no? I think Irfan writes, and these two guys, Hrithik Roshan and Abhay Deol, teases him on the jingle he makes. Some biscuit or something.
Oh, I can't remember that. I can't remember. Okay.
Nice
Okay.
experience. I think it's a vast experience. You have over storytelling, or
I can't hear you, Ravi. I lost you. Can't hear you.
is it okay now?
I suddenly lost you. I don't know what you did just now, so I can't hear you.
I didn't do
It's
anything.
very soft. Your volume is very soft.
Is it okay? Is it better? Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
slightly
this is
better.
good.
This is good.
This is good.
Okay.
This,
Yeah. So we have some rapid fire questions, Deepa.
okay.
So are you all set? Because we want to know you well and we want to see how you do with the rapid fire questions.
Okay. I generally tend to pause before I answer. I will try.
Okay. What's the best thing that happened to you during pandemic, during the lockdown?
During the lockdown, workshops for children, yoga, and storytelling. I think that was one of the best things that happened. Yeah, it just evolved on its own.
I can imagine the weird things kids do while you're teaching them yoga, and it should be pretty cute, seeing them doing all that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very satisfying. Yeah.
What's your favorite board game?
Othello.
Othello. What's that? I've not played it, so.
Okay. The board is like a chessboard, but you have 64 coins.
Okay.
Yeah, you should try it. It's loads of fun. It has 64 coins, and every coin is black on one side and white on the other.
Othello.
Othello, yeah, it's real fun. So it's two players. Each one gets 32 coins, and either you're black or you're white. And the game ends when all the coins get filled up. And at every point, you have a chance to make more of the coins into your color.
Okay.
There are rules for that. So whoever has the maximum black, I mean, they're the winner, or the maximum white, whichever color is higher, that they're the winner. And it's a fun strategy game, but it's not as complex as chess. So I like it very much. Much. So chess you have to remember so many rules. Here it's just yeah, it's fun.
We'll try that. So when are you most inspired? What time of the day you're most inspired? Or the energy is as soon as you get up and until you sleep,
Yeah,
is it
I
the
have two
same energy?
answers. No, I had two answers. One is especially after meditation, and the other is when there's a deadline over my head.
Yeah, sometimes we need
high
somebody to
pressure.
put pressure so that we keep going.
Yeah, so it's both extremes, When I just finished meditation completely still and calm, I'm inspired. And when I'm completely anxious, I'm inspired. Yeah.
Okay, if you
Sorry.
could teach one subject in your school and you had the choice to do that, so which subject would you teach?
English. I've always taught English. Yeah, and I love teaching it. Absolutely. Anytime. Yeah. I mean, that is the regular curriculum. Otherwise, I would teach loving attention. Yeah. If we could have a subject like that.
Loving attention, is it?
Yeah. Giving loving attention. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite beverage? Coffee, tea, red wine, thick shakes?
My favorite test is hot water, and I have it all the time through the day. I'm not really a coffee tea person, and yeah, I don't have alcohol anymore. So yeah, I enjoy other things, but hot water does it. Uh, if I don't get any of these, then I'm very fine with lots of hot water. Yeah, I start my day with hot water, and yeah, have it quite often in the day. Helpful.
No flavors at all. Just plain hot water. Or you
Yeah,
try
it's
these
fine.
masala.
Sometimes I might drop a lemon. Sometimes add some essence. Sometimes maybe some green teas. Sometimes, but otherwise But otherwise, even plain.
Plain.
Yeah, yeah. Just begun to like it. Yeah.
What's the best compliment you have ever received?
Oh, so many. Talk about being modest. No, let me think. Hmm. I think one which really warmed my heart was when I was in Thailand, and we had the session where there was the organizer's grandmother who was sitting there, 102 years old.
Oh,
So she came and she was sitting through the session, and she left a little after my session. And the next day when I was sitting and having lunch, she knows only Thai. So I asked someone, to ask her whether what does she think of my session. And truth be told, I mean, I didn't give benefit of doubt for her memory. I was even wondering if she'll remember my session. And she had this big smile on her face and glint in her eyes. And in Thai, she said something, and they translated that. She said she loved the way this lady told with music and movements. I thought that was so sweet, that someone who's not of my culture, who is 102 years old, who doesn't know English, liked it enough for it to stay with her and to bring a smile and cheer. So yeah, maybe that would be um, a warm memory. Yeah,
I
that's
think
a
one of
nice
the
one.
things grannies at the age of, when you get into the grandparenting thing, one of the things you really love is tell stories to kids, to grandchildren. And, I'm sure she would have got inspired seeing you, how you do it.
Yeah, it was a very nice experience. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And she's my Facebook friend now.
Oh, wow.
I'm inspired by her. She's just living life fully. Yeah,
102. Super.
yeah, yeah, lovely.
Your favorite birthday cake, the best birthday cake you ever had till date.
I ever had. No, yeah. Strangely, I think my life is not that kind of track. I not really celebrated my birthday. Okay. Oh, it should be this year. So sorry. Yes, this year because my son baked one at home. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes. Oh yes. This year's would be the best because my eldest son he learned to bake
Hmm.
and he baked this really delicious cake. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that was very special. Yes, that would be my favorite birthday cake.
Your favorite movie and which movie do you give as an example, or you say these kids must watch, either through streaming channels or anywhere you feel
Yeah.
kids should watch.
I have many, and I've made my list of movies, and I keep checking it out with my children, whether they're completed or no. But two of my recent favorites, one is on Dada Saheb Phalke's life. That part of his life when he struggled to reach a point where he could actually make the first cinema in India. Yeah, it's a Marathi film called Harish Chandrachi Factory. Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing. Yeah, it's one film which everybody should watch, especially creative people, artists. Yeah, it's such an inspiring film, Harish Chandra Chief Factory. And I know you asked me one. I'm going to mention one more, which is a Tamil film called KD. Yeah, K and D. Those are the initials. Once again, that's a movie that anyone, each and every one of us should watch. Yeah, it's deeply inspiring. I think both these films are about living your life to your fullest. Stuff will happen, challenges will come, this, that, that, this. Find your resilience, find your spirit, and just keep going. Yeah. So, and I watched both of them recently during the lockdown. So I'll recommend both. Highly recommend. Yeah, my favorite.
Something you can't do.
Oh, many things. Can't as in, um, let's say, until now, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Technical things, maybe like scuba diving. Yeah. I can't do it. I, yeah. What else? Yeah, I can't live a life where I'm not following my heart. Yeah, that
That's
misalignment is very difficult for me to handle. Yeah. Yeah.
your childhood memory, which you can narrate as a story.
Okay. Okay, this one's a fun one. I'll just Harshvardhan, Harshvardhan, Yajat, Amma the book tariya, book swimming. Yeah. No, I just got inspired to share one story. So this is when I was 10 years old and we lived in Bangalore, Ravi. So there's this place called Malleshwaram. That's where I live. And I had joined swimming in the summer along with many of my classmates. So they had this, I think, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock or some unearthly hour which is always given for the girls. Yeah, I don't know why all the boys get to swim in the nice decent time. Yeah, okay, I'm done with my cribbing. So 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock we had to go for our swimming, and it's a municipality pool. You know, you pay that 1 rupee, 2 rupee or something for the ticket, and there was a lady coach there. Okay, I discovered within the first few days that she wasn't teaching me, and it took me a while to realize that she was teaching these two, three other girls because their mamas were coming and sitting
Hmm.
beside, on the steps in the pool. So then I went back home and I threw a tantrum and I said, Amma has to come so that that coach will teach me also swimming. And my parents were very clear, nothing doing. None of us are coming anywhere near your pool. So of course I felt like the most unloved child in the world. And for 2 days I was so grumpy. I still kept going to the pool because I loved water. And the third day, my father and I, we have this. The backstory is that he buys a lot of books, and my father and I spend a lot of time. Used to spend a lot of time going to libraries, going to bookstores. Yeah, that was our idea of fun. Yeah, so after 2 days, he came home with this book. It's still there with me. Yeah, that's why I wanted to show
Okay.
it.
Swimming.
Yeah. So he got me this book and he said this is what you have to do. So I actually used to it's still written here, Deepa Balasubramanian. Yeah. So I actually used to, go chapter by chapter. They start like literally, what you have to do in the pool, how do you get yourself to float. So
So you took this book, you went into the pool, and
I used to read it at home. I would
okay,
read it at home. Yeah, just one chapter, right? Just get what's there in that chapter, read it at home, then go. Yeah.
and it works. This is the
But
first time I'm hearing that you can
I
actually
know,
read.
I know, I know. That's why I thought I must share this. So I kept doing this. It's a fantastic book. It's a Russian book translated actually into
Hmm.
English, and I just kept following. So they start right from how do you manage to float on water. So hold on to the side and stand like this, and very clear, very clear pictures, very clear instructions. And I was in no hurry. I kept doing whatever. I didn't rush through. So after about 3 weeks or a month, one day that lady coach, she's whistling desperately, and she's yelling at me, you there, that blue suit or whatever I was wearing. I was like, yeah, now what happened? Suddenly she's noticed me. She said, I've informed, right? Swimmers should not be in the learner's limit. Go to the deep end and swim. She said. I was like, oh, I'm a swimmer. So it actually works. It actually works. It actually works. So this is one of my very powerful childhood memories, Ravi. And it's also a reflection of my father's attitude. Only he could come up with a solution like this. Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
a
held me in good
dad,
stead.
let's put the title of this particular story: a dad who taught her daughter how to swim through a book. Or can you come up with a
Yeah.
better title? Can you come up with a better title for
That's
this?
good for now. That's good for now. You've come up with that one, so we'll stay with it.
ये
That's a
वही
nice one.
फादर है
It's
जिन्होंने
a,
बच्चे को बुक
sorry?
ये वही फादर है जिन्होंने बच्ची को बुक से स्विमिंग सिखाए.
Yeah. ये वही father है जिन्होंने सिखाया that if something is messy in your circumstance, just
Find
rack
out.
your brain, you'll find something within you, you'll find some resources to eventually handle that. So I
True.
think there was a
So true.
much larger life message for me, because I found when people would give up on something or get nervous about something, I would be like, "Oh, it's a big deal. Somehow this can be resolved, you know. Something will come from somewhere, some resource, either from within me or from the system. We don't have to sit and waste so much energy in cribbing and complaining and fixing what's outside. Yeah.
True. I think I think उस time में you didn't know, but you would have filed for Guinness Book of Records. You know, the first lady who learned swimming through.
Yeah, let's file now. Yeah. So I've kept this, you know, and I've shown my children also when they were old enough to understand. I've shown the book to them that, you know, this was given by my father, and I told them the whole story behind it. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
what's your? I mean, based on your personality, you're completely into storytelling, and normal things also you might want to tell it as a story. But at home, how do your kids and how does your husband react to the way you carry yourself or the way you carry your passion?
Yeah, so one, I'm an artist. I'm also an educationalist. Yeah, I'm completely in that field as well. I train teachers, so I work with teachers. So there's also that skill that I bring. So as a parent, yeah, there's a different level of involvement I have. There's, you know, most people who are in the education field, as parents, we already have a certain skill. Yeah, so I do find it interesting that. Yeah, it's fun the way my sons and I engage. Yeah, they enjoy listening to stories. They also tell stories. Yeah, and um, I'm a single mother, so I think we have a lot of stories of resilience, of respect that they see, they hear, they live at home, and sense of humor is very important for all of us. We all crack up at the smallest thing, and we're willing to see the funny side of the story. I'd say in most things. You know, for example. Of serious situations also we can just laugh at ourselves and get going. Yeah, they've in their school they're often asked to tell stories, you know. So the first time my younger son was told, he said, "Amma, my Hindi teacher thinks storytelling is a genetic hereditary thing." I said, maybe it is. You want to try, you try. So they're often called to tell stories, and so they like it. It's not they're very fond, but they like.
They like it.
And they also tell in a different medium. They've made short films. They make music. So
Wow.
yeah, we are a story house in that sense, and we're happy to be. Yeah, the house is
Super.
full of books, and I joke that, you know, we may run out of grocery, fruits and vegetables in the house, but we won't
But
run out
not
of
books.
books. Yeah, and I think even the pandemic, it has helped us. It has helped us to be able to, you know,
Open there.
storytelling for me is not just an entertainment. It's not just an art form. It's a way of viewing life. So we've been able to, you know, for example, foresee. You know, we've had these discussions. What are the stories that are going to emerge sometime in March, April itself? You're going to be home for so long. These things can possibly happen. So how are we going to address it? What stories do you want to create so that, you know, we can
Okay.
work around, or we are prepared uh, when we are encountering these. Yeah, so I think it's a way of life as I see it, and it's deeply helping me.
Where can we
It's
see
deeply helping the children.
where can we see your performance? Like some of these articles are like just photographs with a lot of text, but where can we see Deepa's actual storytelling performance, where you're dancing, you're singing, you're making all those
Yeah.
moves? वो कहाँ मिलेगा?
So right now, of course, it's only online. Yeah,
Okay.
because everyone's online, and in online space, the dance element is cut off a bit
Hmm.
because most of us are having an interaction at this level. But otherwise, I have been doing a lot of FB lives, Zoom sessions, Google Meets, yeah, reaching out to people. But I usually do at cultural centers, Saptaparni, Nritya for performing arts, Phoenix Arena. These are some places I perform. Libraries, other educational and cultural institutions, yeah. And right now, yeah, online, YouTube. I have a channel, Deepa Kiran Storyteller. That's my
Okay,
channel. So yeah, it's only digital. Yeah.
nice. So, with all this experience, what would you do if you become the chief minister? What are the areas you would focus on?
Hmm. Education, for sure. um, just a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Education for sure.
Hmm.
It's a space very close to my heart, and I think there's a whole different way in which we can look at children and childhood, and the innate intelligence of children offers space for that to grow.
Hmm.
And yeah, I would introduce a 15-minute law, for all adults, for teachers, for parents, for everyone. And LAW, that would be loving attention way. 15 minutes you have to give, you have to leave everything you have, all your gadgets, and you have to just give the gift of your presence, your loving attention to all the children in your family, to all the children you teach. Nothing. You don't teach, you don't do anything at that time. You're just with them. You use stories or songs or whatever, jokes, but there
Just
has to
sit with
be
them. Just sit and spend time.
it would be lovely. It would be lovely if we could have that 15 minutes. Nothing else, just be with each other. Yeah, I would introduce that. Many things, but that's one thing very much on my mind. Yeah.
Super. Good one, Deepa. It was so nice talking to you, and I think that voice, the calmness, the composure you have. I don't know what you term the way you talk. I think that itself has a lot of magic to it. I think whether you're storytelling or you're talking, that's different. But you've got that magic where the way you say it, the way you orate it, that makes a big difference. So it's wonderful. And what you're doing is you're basically into pharmaceutical industry also, where you're creating these happy chemicals which are useful for everybody, not only for kids, but you're producing happy chemicals for everybody, including parents. And that one message is very important, where we just spend 15 minutes with our loved ones. I think that's very important.
Yeah, please. Let's all do that. And I share this just to remind me also, because even I get carried away in this and that and everything. Yeah, so
True.
it's a reminder to me also. Yeah.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you for taking time out. So,
Yes.
friends, do follow Deepa. Connect with her. She's also on YouTube. We'll share the social handles in the description below. So, do connect with her because this is all about connecting with inspiring people, people with passion, who've been driving passion for a long time, immaterial of all the challenges, who've been learning swimming through books. So, we have people with different different interests here. So
That's my definition now. The one who learns swimming through books.
for sure, I'll remember you for life only with that. So,
Great.
so thank you,
Yeah.
friends. Thank you, Deepa.
Lovely. Yeah, lovely, Ravi. I want to thank you. It was such a beautiful interview. It was seamless the way it flowed, and there was so much reflection for me also in this. So thanks a lot. Great work, yeah, that you're doing with this series.
Thank
Yeah,
you. You
super.
can see some happy chemicals, some glow coming
Yes,
up.
I can see the glow.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Deepa. God bless.
Right. Thanks.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Everyone.